Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a series of videos that I'm going to call the Schoolyard Scrap series. So the idea of this is, when you think back to your childhood, you were in the schoolyard and you'd have those daft arguments around who would win in a fight between Superman and Spider-Man, or Batman and Thor. Yeah, so that's the idea of this. I'm going to take two models and they're going to fight each other best of three. So it might only go to two if one model wins 2 out of the 3 fights straight away. But yeah, that's the idea. So I'm going to use different rules. In this particular case, I'm using Grimdark Future. And to kick things off, we've got an avatar of Plague going up against an avatar of Change. They're fairly evenly balanced. The avatar of Plague is 1025 points. The avatar of Change is 1065 points, so 40 points more expensive, the avatar of Change. They are more or less the basic model, but I've given them both their respective symbols. So the avatar of Plague has got the symbol of Plague, the avatar of Change has got the symbol of Change. The only other thing that I've done differently is the avatar of Plague. I like my models to be as WYSIWYG as I can. The standard avatar of Plague profile has got 2 Exalted Plague swords. Now my model doesn't have 2 swords, so that bell, I've classed that as an Exalted Plague hammer. So it's got a hammer and a sword, not 2 swords. Whereas the avatar of Change has got 2 staffs, so it's got 2 staffs. And the other thing to say about this series is it's just going to be a simple setup like this. The models will be set up within charge range of each other and we'll just cut straight into the fights. So I'm going to start with a simple roll off for initiative. So the avatar of Plague gets a 2, the avatar of Change gets a 1. So the avatar of Plague will activate first. The avatar of Plague has charged in. It is a psychic, so it can cast a psychic spell. So I'm going to try and cast Putrefaction. Ordinarily this goes off on a 5+, but because he's psychic 2, this will go off on a 3+. And that's a pass on a 4. Now the avatar of Change is going to try and deny it. It'll need a 5 or a 6. It doesn't get it, only gets a 4. So the avatar of Plague has now got Putrefaction on itself, so he gets AP +2 next time it fights in melee. Before we actually do the melee, we have to use the symbol of Plague. So you do this before attacking. So we roll X number of dice. This is symbol of Plague 4, so we roll 4 dice. And for each 4+, an enemy unit within 18 inches must immediately take a dangerous terrain test. So 4 dice, needing 4s. And that is only 1 success. It's 3 1s there. So we now make a dangerous terrain test for the avatar of Change. It's tough 18, so we roll 18 dice, and for each natural 1 it takes a wound. There's 1, 2, 3 1s, so it takes 3 wounds. Starting things off with the avatar of Plague's Exalted Plague Sword. This is 9 attacks, it's quality 2+, so hitting on 2s. 6s are poison and rending. So there's 2 1s, there's 1 6, so the 6 effectively becomes 3 hits because of poison. So effectively everything hit. Now the 6 is also rending, so this will be AP -4. The avatar of Change and the avatar of Plague are defense 2+, so this will need a 6 to save, which it doesn't get, so that's 1 point of damage inflicted in this melee. I'm going to keep track of these separately because you need to keep track of how many wounds are inflicted in the melee for determining morale. But that is the 6 taken care of, the rending hit. And then we've got 8 more saves to take, and because of the spell these will be at AP 2, so 8 saves of 4+ needed. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 fails, so 4 wounds inflicted by the Exalted Plague Sword makes 5 wounds taken so far in the melee. Next up, we've got 4 attacks from the Exalted Plague Hammer. Now, these are Blast 3 and Poison, but there's only one model in the target unit, so Blast will still only inflict 1 hit for every successful hit. But Poison, any 6s to hit, will result in 3 hits. So 4 attacks, hitting on 2s. And there's 3 hits, one of which is a 6, so that effectively results in 5 hits. These are not rending, but there will be -2 because of the putrefaction spell. So 5 saves of 4+ needed. Two fail, so that's 2 more damage inflicted. 7 wounds inflicted so far by the Avatar of Plague in this combat. Now he gets 6 stomp attacks, hitting on 2s. There's 2 6s there. 6s are nothing special, but there is a 1, so that's 5 stomping hits. Now these are already AP2, so with the putrefaction spell this will make them AP4. So 6s needed to save. There's 1 6, so 4 go through. So 11 wounds inflicted by the Avatar of Plague so far in this melee. A total of 14 inflicted. It's only got 4 wounds left. Both of these models are tough 18. But now the Avatar of Change gets a chance to fight back. Its 2 Exalted Power Staffs get 9 attacks each. They are rending, so 6s are AP4 and can't be regenerated, which is important because the Avatar of Plague has regeneration. And they've also got the warp ability, which means when you roll to save, or roll to defend or block, then any natural 1s result in an extra wound inflicted on the model. So 18 attacks, hitting on 2s. I can see 3 1s, which will be misses. And I can see 2 6s, which will be rending. So they will need to be natural 6s to save. No. And I rolled 2 1s there, so that's 2 extra wounds, which can be regenerated on 5+. So one of them does, but that will be 3 wounds inflicted. 2 because of the failed saves, and 1 extra because the failed saves were 1s, but one of them was regenerated. So 3 wounds inflicted so far. Then we've got the other regular saves to make. So 13 saves of 2+. And there's 2 more 1s. So they fail, but they can be regenerated, but they will also result in extra wounds inflicted. So I need to make 4 regeneration rolls. And that's 2 made, so that will put the Avatar of Plague on 5 wounds taken. And now the Avatar of Change gets 6 stomp attacks. 6 stomp attacks hitting on 2s. 1 miss. These are AP2, so 4s needed to save. And 1 fails, but can that regenerate on a 5+? No. So 6 wounds inflicted by the Avatar of Change. Now obviously the Avatar of Change has lost that combat. It's at half its starting strength in terms of tough. It's tough 18. It's only got 4 wounds left. So it needs to take a morale check on a 2+, which it passes. So the Avatar of Plague will fall back an inch, and we go on to the Avatar of Change's activation. The Avatar of Change is also a wizard, but it's already used its attempt to use a spell by trying to deny the spell used by the Avatar of Plague. So we're going to go on to, hang on, we need to charge. And we're going to go on to the Symbol of Change. So again, we roll 4 dice, and for each 4+, the Avatar of Plague will take 1 automatic hit with AP 3 and Deadly 3. So 4 dice needing 4s. That's 2 successes. So 2 saves of 5+ needed. 1 made, 1 fail. So then 3 regeneration rolls of 5+ because it's deadly 3. 1 is made, 2 fail. So that's 2 more damage taken. I need to sort those dice out again. Now on to the weapons. Again, 18 attacks. Hitting on 6s because the Avatar of Change has already fought in combat this round. Well, that's quite a few 6s. 5 hits, and because they're 6s, they're rending, so they can't be regenerated. So 5 saves of 6+ needed. None, so that's 5 damage inflicted on the Avatar of Plague so far. 6 stomp attacks, again hitting on 6s. There's 1 hit. AP2, so a 4 needed to save, and he makes it. So 5 damage inflicted by the Avatar of Change. The Avatar of Plague will now fight back. 9 attacks from the Exalted Plague Sword. 1 hit on a 6, which results in 3 hits because of poison. The 6 is rending, so this will be AP4. It saves, and then 2 regular saves, not at -2 anymore because the spell has now worn off, so just 2+ needed to save. Both save. 4 attacks from the hammer, 3 hits, and these are poison. So effectively, that results in 9 hits. No AP, so 2's needed to save. And there's 2 fails. And then 6 stomp attacks. 1 hit. AP2, so 4's needed to save. Saves. And you know what, I forgot Fear. I don't think it would have made a difference in the previous one because the Avatar of Change had taken significantly more wounds, certainly more than 3, than the Avatar of Plague had. So again, it won't make any difference this time either because both of these models have Fear, so they'll both inflict or count as having inflicted D3 additional wounds. So at most, the Avatar of Plague will inflict 5, or count as inflicted 5, and the Avatar of Change will count as inflicted a minimum of 6. So either way, the Avatar of Change has won this particular round of combat, so we now have to do a morale test for the Avatar of Plague. And it passes on a 6. So the Avatar of Change will fall back, and at the end of the round, so far, the Avatar of Plague has got 5 wounds left. The Avatar of Change has got 2 wounds left. So the Avatar of Plague will activate first because it finished activating first in the previous round, and it's going to start with a charge. I'm really surprised that something that big doesn't get impact hit. It's going to try and cast Putrefaction again on a 3+ effectively. That passes. The Avatar of Change is going to try and deny it on a 5 or a 6. It denies it again. Oh no, not again. It denies it. Not again. Right. Symbol of Plague. 4 dice, needing 4s. 3 successes. So we now need to roll 18 dice 3 times, and each natural 1 will be a wound on the Avatar of Change. First lot of 18 dice. Only a single 1. The Avatar of Change has got 1 wound left, but we need to do that again. And there's 2 more 1s. That is the Avatar of Change slain. So the first win goes to the Avatar of Plague. I'm going to reset and we'll do the second fight. Round 2 initiative. Avatar of Plague gets a 1. Avatar of Change gets a 5. Avatar of Change has charged in. Before it fights, it's going to use its symbol of change. 4 dice, needing 4s. 3 successes. 3 saves of 5+ needed. None are made, so that's deadly 3 each. So now 9 regeneration rolls of 5+ needed. 1, 2, 3, 4 made. So that's 5 damage inflicted from the symbol of change. Now the Avatar of Change is going to try and cast Bolt of Change. Ordinarily 6+, but it's Psychic 2, so it'll go off on a 4+. It passes. Can the Avatar of Plague deny on a 5 or a 6? No. So this is 1 automatic hit at AP 4 and deadly 6. So first of all we need a 6 to save. No. So now 6 regeneration rolls of 5+. 1 made. So that's 5 more damage goes through. The Avatar of Plague has already taken 10 wounds. It's only got 8 left. It's already at less than half its starting strength. 18 attacks from these exalted power staffs, hitting on 2s, 6s are rending. The 2 dropped off camera. So there's only 1 miss, 3 rending hits. So these will need 6s to save. Nope, that 1 inflicts an extra damage, an extra wound rather. So far these 3 saves can't be negated, they can't be regenerated, but this extra one can, and it does. So that's 3 more wounds taken. Only 3 in this particular round of melee, so that's the rending hits taken care of. Now 14 saves of 2+ needed. There's 3 1s. So that inflicts 3 additional wounds, but these can be regenerated on 5+. Only 1 regenerates. So that's a total of 8 damage taken so far in this round of melee, but we've still got stomp attacks to come. But we don't need to do the stomp attacks because that's 18 damage, and the Avatar of Plague is only tough 18. So that is a dead Avatar of Plague. It's basically been one-shotted by the Avatar of Change. So far 1 win apiece as we go into the third and final fight, the Decider. So initiative for the final fight. The Avatar of Plague gets a 5, the Avatar of Change gets a 4. So initiative goes to the Avatar of Plague. So the Avatar of Plague is charged in. It's going to try and cast Putrefaction again on a 5+. Sorry, 3+. It casts. Can the Avatar of Change deny it on a 4, 5 or 6? Yes it can. No Putrefaction for the Avatar of Plague. Symbol of Plague, 4 dice needing 4s. Only 1 success this time. 18 dice, natural 1s or a wound on the Avatar of Change. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds on the Avatar of Change. Moving into the melee, 9 attacks from the Exalted Plague Sword, hitting on 2s. 2 misses, but no 6s. 7 saves of 2+ needed. 1 fails. So that's 1 wound inflicted so far by the Avatar of Plague in this round of melee. 4 attacks from the Exalted Plague Hammer, or Bell, hitting on 2s. All hit, but again no 6s. 4 saves of 2+ needed. Again 1 fails. 6 stomp attacks hitting on 2s. 1 miss. The 6 is nothing special. AP2, so 5 saves of 4+ needed. 2 fail, so 4 wounds inflicted by the Avatar of Plague in this round of melee. The Avatar of Change will now get to fight back. 18 attacks from the Exalted Power Staffs, hitting on 2s. 3 misses, 5 rending hits. So we'll do the rending hits first. So this will need to be natural 6s to save. There's 1, but the other 4 can't be regenerated. And there were no 1s rolled to inflict extra wounds. And now 10 regular saves, saving on 2s. And there's 1 fail, which will inflict an extra wound. So do these regenerate on 5s? No. So that's 6 damage inflicted so far by the Avatar of Change. And then 6 stomp attacks, hitting on 2s. 1 miss. 5 saves of 4+ needed. 1 saves. Do the other 4 regenerate on 5s? 2 regenerate. So 8 damage taken by the Avatar of Plague. And again, they've both got Fear, but Fear won't make any difference because the Avatar of Change has inflicted 8, so minimum of 9. The Avatar of Plague has inflicted 4, maximum of 7. So the Avatar of Plague loses that combat. It's not down to half its starting strength yet, but it still needs to take a morale test, which it passes on a 4. And the Avatar of Plague will have to fall back an inch. So the Avatar of Plague has suffered 8 wounds, the Avatar of Change has suffered 9 wounds, but it is now the Avatar of Change's activation. It's charged in, can't use a spell because we're still in the same turn of the game, and it used its magical ability, its psychic ability, to deny the psychic spell from the Avatar of Plague. So Symbol of Change, 4 dice needing 4s. 3 successes again, 3 saves of 5+ needed, 2 made, so that's deadly 3, but these can be regenerated on 5+. No, so 3 damage taken. So the Avatar of Plague has so far taken 11 wounds, it's got 7 left as we go into the melee attacks, hitting on 6s because the Avatar of Change has already fought in combat this turn. 18 attacks from the Exalted Power Staffs. That's only 2 hits, which are rending because they're 6s. So 6s to save. No, so that's 2 damage inflicted, which can't be regenerated because of rending. 6 stomp attacks, hitting on 6s. 1 hit. AP2, so 4 needed to save. Saves. So far 2 damage inflicted by the Avatar of Change in this round of combat, this round of melee. So going on to the Avatar of Plague. 4 attacks from the hammer, simply because I've got 4 dice in my hand. Hitting on 6s. Nothing. 6 stomp attacks, hitting on 6s. 2 hits. AP2, so 4's needed to save. 1 save, 1 fail. Now 9 attacks from the Exalted Plague Sword, hitting on 6s. Nothing. So in this round of melee, 2 wounds inflicted by the Avatar of Change, 1 inflicted by the Avatar of Plague. So Fear will play a part in this one. So the Avatar of Plague will count as having inflicted an additional 1 wound. And the Avatar of Change counts as having inflicted an additional 3. So 5 wounds counted as having inflicted on the Avatar of Plague, only 2 on the Avatar of Change. So the Avatar of Change wins this melee, which means the Avatar of Plague now needs to make a morale test. And if it fails this, it will be routed because it's less than half its starting toughness. It's only got 5 wounds left. It passes. So the Avatar of Change needs to fall back an inch. And we head into the next round of combat. The Avatar of Plague gets to activate first because it finished activating first in the previous turn. So it's going to charge. It's going to try and cast Putrefaction on a 3+, which fails on a 1. Symbol of Plague, 4 dice, needing 4s. 1 success. Deadly terrain test for the Avatar of Change. 18 dice, natural 1s inflict wounds. There's 2 1s, so 2 more damage inflicted on the Avatar of Change. It's taken 12 so far, it's got 6 left. It's really close as we go into the actual melee now. So the Avatar of Change has taken 12 damage, the Avatar of Plague has taken 13. But the Avatar of Plague will swing first. 4 attacks from the Exalted Great Hammer. Plague Hammer rather. All 4 hit, but there's a 6 there, so that results in 2 additional hits, so that makes 6 hits in total. No AP on these though. So 6 saves of 2+ needed. 1 fails. 6 stomp attacks hitting on 2s. All 6 hit. 6s are nothing special. 6 saves of 4+ needed. 2 fail. The Avatar of Change has got 3 wounds left. 9 attacks from the Exalted Plague Sword, hitting on 2s. That's 2 misses, but 2 6s as well. So the 2 6s are rending, so need 6s to save, which both fail. And then the 2 6s also count as poison, so inflict 2 additional hits each. 11 saves of 2+. The Avatar of Change needs to make all of these. Can't afford to fail a single one. It fails 2. The Avatar of Change is destroyed. So that's 2 wins for the Avatar of Plague. Only 1 win for the Avatar of Change. So the Avatar of Plague is victorious. So if you want to know who will win in a fight between an Avatar of Plague and an Avatar of Change, an Avatar of Plague will. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a fun little idea that I came up with. Well, I think it's a fun little idea. Hopefully you guys will think it's fun as well. So I'm probably not going to do this time after time after time after time. It's just every now and then I feel like filming something silly like this. So I might do these every now and then. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I think it was actually quite close. I think ultimately it comes down to who gets the initiative role. But yeah, I think they were fairly well balanced. If the Avatar of Change had won the initiative, I think again it could have been another one-shot. In the practice games that I had, so I practiced this a few times first just to make sure I was getting the rules right and everything. The Avatar of Change won every single time. But yeah, now I've actually filmed it, the Avatar of Plague won. So yeah, that's that. So thank you very much for watching. Please continue to like, comment and subscribe. And until next time, God bless.